following program is brought to you by Tiger Media Net, and that program is It Came from the DVD Collection. Ah!
Hello and welcome to the podcast. My name is John Billinger, and this is...
I'm Connor Keating.
And today we have special guest star... You're supposed to say your name.
Aidan Hammond. I was not told about this, and also I have a question. You keep inviting me onto this show. How long until I'm no longer a special guest, but just part of the show?
Well,
how many times do I have to be invited?
We're going to get thrown off the air real soon.
Yeah.
So, probably never.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You can come to all of them. It's just
You're just special guest star, yeah?
You'll forever be a special guest star because after this semester.
Yes. And this has been It Came from the DVD Collection. Ooh, and tonight's movie we're watching is Fred2, Night of the Living Fred. Because, last week we did Girl versus Monster.
Although I think we should talk about the fact that it was like
we did Green Slime.
Yeah, earlier
first,
this
and
month
then
we did Green Slime.
Girl vs. Monster,
and
but
then,
Girl vs. Monster got released first.
We don't know if Green Slime is up by the time that this goes up, so it's going to be really weird when that episode of, the Green Slime episode has a teaser for an episode or two, or that have already come out.
Yeah, I feel like that guy that has a show aired out of order now.
Yeah, like Firefly or something.
Yeah, or Gravity Falls.
Was that aired out of order?
Okay, no, it wasn't.
No, it was not.
Shut up.
Don't you spread lies.
I love spreading misinformation on the internet.
We already did that with Ennio Morricone, and that's still up, by the way, at the time of this recording, which is awesome.
We love to see it.
A friend of mine told me that I need to frame that and frame that on my wall. That's my little contribution to Morricone's legacy.
Yeah, it's spreading misinformation about him working on Girl vs. Monster.
Well, he was offered.
Yeah, offered to work on Girl vs. Monster.
All right, so Fred2, where to begin?
Where to begin?
Oh my God. Well, I guess we'll start with what were your, first exposure to this movie growing up as a kid?
Well, it's funny because the character of Fred, I did not know about until the iCarly crossover with him.
Really? That's the first time you heard of him?
Yeah. Well, I didn't get on YouTube until 2013, 2014, because that was around the time Pacific Rim and Godzilla 2014 were coming out. And so that's the first time that I really got onto YouTube. And so, yeah, the iCarly and the Fred movies were my introduction to the character. And so, yeah, just watching, I remember when the first one came out. I remember when this second movie came out. I remember watching the third one a crap ton, just, on Nickelodeon. So, yeah.
I grew up watching Fred on YouTube, and I got really excited when the Fred movie came out in, September of 2010 on Nickelodeon. I was like, oh my God, ah! And then I also watched Fred2 when it first aired, and I don't think I ever saw the third one.
That's unfortunate.
I did see the TV show.
The third one's probably the worst one.
It's a low bar anyway. Aidan, what were your exposure to Fred as a kid?
Well, my first exposure to Fred Figglehorn, as he's commonly known.
Should probably give background on Fred himself after this, but go ahead.
Yes, I believe it was a video shared on Facebook that my sister showed me when I was at the age of 7 or something along that. It was obviously early 2010 YouTube, so the content was very zany, it was very crazy, and it wasn't concise at all. But holy moly, did it shape who most of us are as individuals today. Hearing just Fred speak in the movie just brought back a flood of memories about fluffy squirrels or giant squirrels, and just crazy memories, honestly.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Fred Figglehorn was a character created by Lucas Cruikshank, who was one of the first viral video sensations on the YouTube website, and then he got his own Nickelodeon series.
The YouTube.
YouTube.
You said the YouTube.
Well, that's what I said.
You're old, John.
I'm an old
The
man.
tubes.
I'm older than all you guys.
What's it called in the show? Blue Tube?
Blue Tube, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he got more exposure when he guest starred on iCarly in 2009, and they decided to make 3 movies based on him and a TV show. So,
Which,
yeah.
I mean, pretty good for yourself, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How long did the TV show even run for?
like I said, like
don't
a
remember the
couple
TV show.
episodes
It was
or
a-
something like that. It was very short-lived.
Oh my gosh! It just came back to me. The existence of his second TV show, Marvin.
Marvin. I was just going to
What?
mention that. I hated Marvin. I
Do you
think I
not know
watched
this?
like 2 minutes of that.
There's a show
It
where
was on Nickelodeon, right?
yes,
It's basically Mork and Mindy. He plays an alien.
he plays an
It-
alien. I can't remember if he had the squeaky
Wait,
voice.
oh,
He did.
yeah.
He just used his
Yeah.
regular voice.
Okay, yeah.
That
Yeah,
show
no, I remember
was
it, yeah.
god awful. I watched it. when
I remember it
was-
lasting longer than the Fred TV show, which is kind
No,
of
that's
hilarious.
impressive.
I don't
That's
remember
impressive.
the Fred TV show, honestly.
It was very short lived. Like I don't know if it made it to 12 episodes.
No, well, we could fact check that.
Yeah, we can
but I'm
fact
not
check
gonna-
it.
I'm
But
not gonna
I
do that.
only
It's
remember there
Fred.
being like a couple episodes even for that, like less than even just like your run of the mill like failed TV show that gets like 12 episodes. It felt like 5 or something.
Yeah, and then they did the 3rd movie afterwards, and that was pretty much a wrap on Fred for that. And I think Lucas Cruikshank did do some more Fred videos later on, but the franchise is basically dead. You know, it's kind
Yeah.
of like our generation's equivalent to the Ernest films of the 80s and 90s. Ernest was another character that got a ton of popularity and then kind of faded away.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I looked it up. The Fred TV show lasted 24 episodes.
That is about 23 episodes too many.
Impressive. I think that's 24 episodes too many.
Well, you know, you gotta get at least the pilot episode out there. Oh, man, wow. Wonder what the writing team for that show was like.
Yeah.
It must have been very depressing.
So, do you want to give some background on what who Fred is as a character?
He
And
is a schizophrenic.
We have no confirmation on this.
Well,
I
basically, he's
No-
this hyperactive kid
No
that's an
canon.
idiot.
There is no canon to this.
And he's basically an idiot with a high-pitched, squeaky voice, like, "Hey, it's Fred!" It's like it's a sped-up
That's
voice.
pretty close, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that impression in the intro, by the way, and the intro and outro. So for those listening to this in the future, yes, that's why I did it, because of Fred. And God, he's this hyperactive kid. He has no friends. He's a loser.
What are you
That's
talking
not
about?
true.
Oh yeah, he has
That's
Bertha as
the
a
thing
friend.
is, he's got like only female friends, which I think is the most unrealistic thing about it.
Yeah, the
It's-
most unrealistic.
It's like
thing.
how in Iron Eagle, their stupid flight club has 2 girls in it. It's like that's impossible.
the only contact this kid would ever have with a girl was being pepper sprayed. Let's just be frank.
That was the first movie, I think.
It might have been.
I'm
the first
pretty
movie.
sure he gets pepper
I think
sprayed
that
in the
is
first movie.
Actually, yeah.
I don't know. It's been like a decade since
Yeah.
I've last seen the first movie, and it's also been a decade since I've seen this movie, so
Yeah.
I don't remember. But and then he has like this bully Kevin. Yeah, it's like a mean to him.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
just
gonna
like
say something
your
bad words,
stereotypical jock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oh my god, take it away, Connor. Just
Oh, you want me to just do a plot synopsis or something?
yeah, plot
All right,
synopsis.
plot
of Fred
synopsis.
2. Just
Okay,
Take it
so
away.
the plot is that Fred's teacher, or Fred's piano teacher, right?
New.
This old lady. No, the old lady.
Oh, okay.
She disappears, and she is suddenly replaced by this creepy new guy who has a catchphrase. He always
Hello,
says
Ski.
"Hello, Ski."
He kind of reminds me of me.
Yeah, he's essentially an adult version of John, except he's obsessed with the piano instead
And
of
Korea.
and Korea instead of
Way to find that
monster
out
movies
later.
and the 50s.
Yeah.
And so basically, Fred thinks there's something weird, something wrong, and he's like very much vindicated with all the evidence that he sees
Yeah.
throughout the movie that this
Yeah,
guy is
there's
up
a
to
lot
no
of
good.
weird stuff about that guy.
Yeah. And
That's what was so good about the movie. Like, you're like, wait, there are some things pointing to this guy being not as he seems.
Yeah.
Should we trust this?
should we trust this guy?
Also, I hate to interrupt, but did they ever, like, establish what happened to the old lady?
No,
no.
they never established. What
Like,
happened.
That's gonna blow up the mic.
obviously that was, Mr. Devlin is the name of the teacher.
Yeah.
But did we ever, I think
it's like the
it was-
devil.
I think it was her son. I think that was established.
No, I don't think that was.
Never established.
No, I'm pretty sure that was established.
Do you want to rewatch the movie again?
Should I look at their last names? I can look their characters up right now.
Unless if like the son kept his
Look,
father's
I don't
name.
know.
I don't know.
Because I remember him saying like, "Oh yeah, I moved here to like take care of my mom."
I don't remember.
I remember that. I'm telling you, I am.
Well, the old lady was Mrs. Felson, and the other guy, and he's Mr. Devlin. And also, she's a Mrs., so she
Look, I don't know how to explain
technically
it.
married at some point.
Can you give me any better explanation as to?
She's dead.
Yeah, she's dead.
Dead as a doornail.
Which that's another thing I find really weird about the Fred movies. They give you mysteries, but they don't really give you a lot of
solve them.
answers. Yeah,
I got it. Anyways, back
It's
to
like
the plot.
J.J. Abrams wrote this.
Yeah. Anyways,
He was the uncredited ghostwriter. Should we go on his wiki?
get on the wiki.
now?
Get on the wiki. Anyways, so eventually Fred comes to the conclusion, and it's not immediate. It takes a little bit that Mr. Devlin is a vampire, and so basically he sets out to prove that he's a vampire. Does so to all the kids at school. Then he gets to know him and realizes, oh shoot, he's just
he was just misunderstanding.
he's just a misunderstood guy who has an obsession with Korea, and he has he has a secret kitchen in his basement.
No,
which is still
it's
weird.
Like a side room. He buries, which I don't know. Any of you ever had like kimchi?
No.
I haven't either, so I can't.
So you don't know if it's buried.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, but
Fact check it, someone.
and so then
No.
Post in the comments.
We spread lies here.
So the climax of the film is Fred trying to prove to Kevin and all of his friends that he's the real vampire, and it ends with an awesome scene where Kevin believes that he just killed Fred.
Yeah.
Which, it's nice that Kevin does care about Fred, because he is really sad at first that he killed Fred.
Yeah, well, he's also sad by the fact when he's because basically the way that Fred proves that Devlin is a vampire is he brings his phone camera into his house.
I don't even know if it's like a very early phone.
It's a very early smartphone.
So yeah, it was very.
It's
strange.
2012.
I know it's 2012, but still
2011.
2011. Sorry.
2011.
I gotta say as well, the fact that Fred both owns a website, knows how to live stream it from his phone, and realizes realizes how to kind of manage his own website. That's honestly a little impressive.
Yeah, but yeah, it's nice to see and so Kevin and all of his friends are apparently watching his stuff, even though they hate his guts, and then they're actively worried about him as they go through as Fred goes through this teacher's house.
Yeah.
And Kevin
was the one that opened the original link and sent it to his friends. The guy who hates him wanted to check in on his safety.
I think John just showed us that he edited was that J.J. Abram or was that?
This is a Fred movie.
Oh, the Fred movie one.
Why do you do this?
Because it's funny.
It's funny.
It's.
But anyway, so what do you think of the plot of this movie? Did you like? Well, actually, did you like the movie? Is my first question.
Yes, it was better than I expected.
Okay, Aidan.
I got to agree, better than expected, honestly.
Let me just put it like this. This movie was terrible, but it was really funny.
It was.
This is I'd say this is a so bad it's good kind of movie. Guilty pleasure.
Which I think is honestly at least in our monster movie sphere.
I like it better than Girl vs. Monster. I'll tell you that.
Truthfully, in the monster movie sphere, there are not that many so bad it's good monster movies. Most of the bad monster movies are just straight.
bad.
I mean, could you consider this a monster movie?
Well, yeah, we are for the show. Is this?
I guess. Yeah, sure. I just didn't know.
The real monster were the friends we made along the way. But yeah, it unlike a lot of stuff from the asylum, the 50s.
You're really saying
the movies on the 50s sci-fi creature sci-fi classic collection better than most of the movies on there.
Yeah.
Because unlike those movies which are just straight boring, this is
crap.
Yeah,
This has entertaining.
This is
elements.
entertaining. We were having a good time watching this
Yeah.
We were
movie.
basically just making fun of the whole thing.
I will say
and then
though,
laughing with it
I
occasionally.
mean, it did have some pretty solid jokes, like the fact
Tastes good
Oh, yeah.
for a sack.
Something else we should mention is that Fred Figglehorn
Don't be so close to the mic.
is that Fred Figglehorn has one heck of a family life. His mother is
In the canon of the YouTube channel, at least. We don't know if it's the case with the Nickelodeon series, but I'm going to say that it is. Go ahead.
she's not a very good mother. She meets a lot of people. Let's put it like that.
yeah,
She's a hooker.
Thank you, John. And Fred is under the impression that John Cena is his dad. So those scenes were always very entertaining whenever
Yeah,
John
John Cena
showed up in Fred's imagination,
And
pretending
apparently,
to be
John
his dad.
Cena credits the Fred movies as a positive influence on his acting career.
yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, good for him, honestly.
At least he got a career.
It's a stupid fun role, and
Yeah.
like we watched an interview during the movie with John Cena, where he basically said like it was just fun to basically play his wrestling persona in a movie in just kind of a stupid over the top
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And over the top, it did go.
Yeah,
there was literally a
He
scene.
certainly has more of
where-
an acting career than Flo did in this
With-
movie. Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah,
actress
that's
who
right.
played Flo is in this movie. Which, given that I've also seen her in the movie Reanimated, which should be published by now, my review for that, I'd say this is a step up.
There was a scene where John Cena and Fred enter a WWE ring, and
That was a real event, and I looked it up.
and wrestle with Kevin
And Devlin.
and Devlin as over the top bad guys, and it is honestly very. The whole thing was very entertaining. Honestly,
It's pretty
I really wonder what it was like to be in the audience that night.
I think one of the things that really works about these Fred movies is the fact that they know that the character of Fred is annoying, and so
Stupid.
you don't take them seriously.
yeah, you don't take him seriously, and so they kind of play on the fact that he's fairly unlikable, and so then they actively, they give you these slapstick scenes where you see him
Where you see
Get
him
beat.
getting picked up and thrown
getting
around.
picked up and thrown into a table.
That's for the adults in the audience.
Turning into a Pomeranian and biting a vampire's throat out.
yeah,
you
they had
remember
the
that?
Twilight parody.
Yeah.
There's a lot
And
of movie parodies in this movie.
yeah.
Like, we get,
I
like,
think
cast-
the best Fred kill was when the teacher pulled off his face, revealed to be a mosquito, and then proceeded to suck his blood.
Yeah, we get parodies of like The Fly, Casablanca, just all sorts of things.
Sanjiro.
Yeah,
it was honestly
Nosferatu,
amazing.
I guess.
Yeah, with the way that he walks.
Yeah, the way
teacher.
the teacher walks. Yeah, Dracula, pretty much. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
what a
so
movie.
yeah, it was truly an experience.
Truly one of the movies of all time.
I no, it was a okay. I'm
What do
gonna
you
go
think
on
of the
limb.
acting in the movie?
It was a okay. The
Oh,
acting.
I'm sorry. You go ahead.
The
before-
acting. It was pretty solid. I would say. I mean, it's a Nickelodeon movie
Hey,
meant
it's
to
a
be
Nickelodeon.
played like after kids get home from school, like getting ready for Halloween.
This was played
parties.
at like 9:00 when it first aired.
Yeah.
if I recall. It aired
I
at
mean,
night.
To be fair, like all of the actors in this movie are like legit actors. Aside from like
professional actors.
aside from like Fred,
and
technically.
John Cena at the time.
Yeah, sure.
At the time.
He's an actor now.
Well,
Now,
no, I think technically because it's WWE, who's kind of always an
I
actor.
guess yeah, you can.
But
consider
yeah,
that.
like speaking, like full on speaking roles. But to be fair, he was just playing his normal character.
Persona.
But yeah. Anyways, since it's like a lot of accomplished actors, like yeah, you got the Flo chick, the mom. I don't know exactly what specific thing she's from, but I know she's been in a lot of
stuff.
She's in a lot of like Nickelodeon and Disney Channel movies and shows as like trashy mom sort of character. Like that's essentially her
niche.
Her niche, yeah,
Yeah.
her character.
And then we had the girl from Victorious as
yeah,
Bertha.
as Bertha.
Yeah, who was originally played by Jeanette McCurdy in the first movie. I guess she didn't want to be in the second one.
Yeah, don't blame her.
But I think the Fred movie, unironically, is a decent movie. It's not one to be taken seriously. So if you go into it with like a okay, this is going to be funny as hell. I'm going to laugh at
There
this.
were some parts you were grossed out about, like the sock scene.
That was the only thing I was grossed out
Tell him about the sock scene, Connor.
Tell them about the sock scene. I mean, you guys are like, oh, this is so terrible. I mean, like, I don't know. I thought it was just a dumb joke. It's just like,
He's like some cook like challenges Fred to make a decent meal out of his sock, so he puts all sorts of gross stuff in there.
yeah, he fills the sock with like Skittles and veggies and meat and all sorts of stuff.
Then he
he
deep
covers
fries
it
it.
in he covers it in
Deep
sprinkles
fries it.
and deep fries it.
Yeah, tastes good for a sock. And now let's talk about something that we were talking about throughout the entire movie: is the psychosis of Fred
Yes.
Figglehorn.
What
Because
is
this
real?
kid is insane. Because this kid might rival Robert De Niro in King of Comedy in terms of what's real and what's just fantasy.
So I guess let's start. Let's start with one of the earliest examples. I would say.
Hey, turn your head towards
Really? Okay. Oh yeah. Sorry. Let's start with one of the earliest examples. Kevin's sister didn't know. Would you consider that an example?
Yep.
Yep. So basically, Kevin has a sister that is introduced in this movie that Fred had no idea existed. So
And she really likes him.
Yeah.
And so I
That's-
think
that's definitely unrealistic.
for the first chunk of the movie, we were like fairly unsure if she was even real or not. Like, especially when she died and turned into a ghost for like a scene.
and
It
then
was
Fred
very
fell
much,
fell down the
and
stairs.
then Fred fell down the stairs. It was very much like, is this just in his mind? Because there are a lot of characters
Yes.
that are just in his mind, like
John Cena.
Durf, John Cena.
No, we don't even know if Durf is real or not. We're
Durf
just all
is
convinced that
Durf is well,
Durf
maybe
is basically Fred if
Durf
he was
is
normal.
just Durf is normal Fred. He's a long-haired, leather jacket, deep voice Fred, just going, "It's tight."
It's tight. I think they slow down his voice when he
Yeah.
plays Durf. But yeah, and I looked it up. Fred is also apparently bipolar, which I can see. It's schizophrenic because he has these hallucinations and he hears voices all the time. Probably has OCD. Probably has autism. Probably has Asperger's. Probably has
ADHD.
ADHD.
everything.
He's got
Just
everything.
violent tendencies,
was-
homicidal tendencies, just everything.
It was
Racism.
a
Racism.
no, not. I wouldn't say racism actually.
Well, there was. Well, we were talking about that one scene where he. they
I
go-
guess that was probably more the writers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He goes to like the
The
like a
stereotypical Chinese restaurant,
Yeah.
and it's a little.
He's asking for garlic sauce, and of course the like the Chinese workers are like speaking in broken English.
Yeah.
That could just be the writers being racist.
Yeah,
but
it was a little.
Yeah.
we were just kind of like, wow, this was acceptable 10 years ago.
Yeah,
it was a different time.
This is a little sketchy.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
On
But
children's
one thing
television.
I want to bring up is the one scene where John Cena shows up and he picks Fred up and throws him onto
he
a
throws
table.
him onto a table.
I don't believe we ever see that table again, which implies that might have actually happened somehow.
I feel like I need to go back. I'm not gonna do it, but I feel like I need to go back through and watch it just to see, like, is the table.
Where's Matt Pat when you need
Yeah,
him?
where's Matt Pat? Come back, Matt Pat.
He's
We
retired.
need you to do
He's
the
retired.
Fred movie.
Yeah, just try to figure out what's wrong with this kid.
God. Yeah, it was
Honestly,
it
I'm
was
gonna
a
look it up.
joke. It was a joke that we would get a psychology major
We
and
should've.
invite them to watch this movie, and
Can you imagine if we did do that? Like, that person would never talk to us again.
I think most other people you invite to watch a movie with you guys would.
I actually invited quite a few people to watch this movie with us.
Really?
I invited Reagan Neufeld to watch this movie
Really?
with us, and she said no.
Wow.
I would like
Buzzkill.
the audience to know that one of the only seating options in John's apartment is a couch that we all sit on. It is only
Yeah, there's
comfortable for like
technically
two of us.
only 2 seats on it, yeah, and you had to sit in the middle.
I've had to sit in the middle for the past 2 movies because Connor is rude and does not want his guests to
Deserved.
have another
Deserved.
to
I
have a better
remember
seat.
I sat on the floor for half a Girl versus Monster.
And I was honestly almost there myself. I was getting ready to sit on the floor.
Speaking of Girl vs.
That
Monster,
couch is like 30 years old, by the way.
Speaking of Girl vs. Monster, one thing to note about Fred 2, though, is that I felt it was a lot slower movie than Girl vs. Monster, despite being shorter. Like,
I feel like that might be due to the ads we had to watch.
we did have to watch ads because we were watching
we watched
this...
YouTube with ads.
Yeah.
And which sucked because the ads were so loud.
They were about
Very loud, blew out the TV
compared
speakers.
to the movies.
A minute of ads, like...
I'm surprised that the my neighbors didn't complain about me.
And this is, and like when we say on YouTube, we mean like the actual official YouTube
on the
movies. And so because of that, it's not just like 10-second ad that we can skip or whatever. No, this is like there's a minute of ads.
This was a commercial break
throughout.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And
not as charming as the commercial breaks for when it first aired, mind
No.
you. So it's not like, catch an all-new episode of iCarly.
yeah, nothing like that. Nothing fun.
All right. Do we have any other thoughts about the movie?
No, I think we pretty much summed up everything.
Really?
It's
All right. Oh yeah.
It's-
no. Let's talk about the ending.
Oh yeah, where
So,
it's revealed.
would you mind? Hey, would you mind if I took this over?
Yes, take it away, Aidan.
So the ending of the movie is Mr. Devlin is moving out of the town after
Maybe stand back a little bit.
after basically the whole town is against him. After Fred convinces everyone that he's a vampire, Mr. Devlin is still moving out because he has other things to do. However, he does take Fred's mom on one last date, which is a thing that's been happening throughout the whole movie. As they go to leave, Fred looks into a mirror reflecting the doorway and only sees his mom, which implies that he was right this whole time.
or it's another schizophrenic delusion.
Or that, but I like what I'm making better.
I think it's more. It's a schizophrenic delusion. It reminds me of this
Don't
one
take this
book
from me.
my teacher read to me in first grade, where it was basically like my teacher's a vampire type thing, where students think.
I
their
swear you're
teacher's a
thinking of like
vampire.
Monster from the Black Lagoon or something.
It's not. It's not. I actually even found the book.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, not the snot monster from the Black Lagoon or whatever. But yeah. So what did you think of that twist, Connor? Do you think Mr. Devlin is a vampire, or is it just another schizophrenic hallucination?
I don't think we'll ever know. It's a mystery.
I think it's a schizophrenic hallucination. Okay, so that was this episode of It Came from the DVD
It
Collection.
didn't even rate the movie.
Oh, yeah, rate the movie first.
10 out of 10.
I would give this movie 10 or no, I would give this movie 7 microwave Twinkies out of 10.
I'll give this movie 6 roadkill squirrels out of 10.
Yeah, I give this 10 copies of Fred 3 on DVD out of 10.
That's a lot of copies of Fred 3 on DVD.
Yeah, and they're going to be at your house before too long.
Okay, that's great.
All right.
So, anyway, that was this episode, again, of It Came from the DVD Collection. Join us next time for... What's the movie?
Probably, I mean, realistically, it's probably going to be The Green Slime. But after, canonically, it's going to be, according to the actual timeline, it's going to be The Blob and The Blob.
Beware of the blob, it creeps and leaps and da 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 da.
He ran out of the words.
I'm sorry. Let's.
Do we have to reboot, John?
Yeah,
Well, we need to
Damn.
reboot the timeline.
need to reboot the timeline.
Yeah, let's make a story out of this, where it's basically like we got to get the timeline back in track.
We gotta come up with a skit real fast.
Yeah, like it's Linkar or like
Like it's Linkar.
Nostalgia Critic or something like that. Okay, no, we don't have the budget for that.
Yeah, and also it's a podcast, so
We could do like an audio adventure series.
audio adventure series.
Yeah, like John and Connor Adventures Across the Galaxy.
Oh, and Aidan's there.
And Aidan's also there for some reason.
Dang.
He snuck aboard the ship before the takeoff. And now they're blasting off towards Mars to save the timeline.
He's just like the kids in all of the old movies, like of an episode of Battlestar Galactica or something. You know, the kids got to jump aboard.
I was thinking more like Temple of Doom, like he's like
Black Scorpion.
yeah, Black Scorpion or something like that.
All right.
Anyway,
that's
enough
it.
bullying, Aidan.
Anyway, I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Aidan, do you have anything else to say to the audience?
I hope you guys enjoy this movie. Have a safe Halloween, and we'll see you next time. Happy Halloween.
Connor, you have anything
No.
to say? Okay, well, Happy Halloween.
Hey, it's Ed! And my brain hurts after hearing those people talk for half an hour. Anyway, this podcast was produced by John Billinger and Connor Keating. And they used to have a special guest star, Aidan Hammond. Anyway, the movie that was covered, Fred2, Land of the Living Fred, it's a good movie, is the property of Nickelodeon. And this has been a Tiger Media Net production. Woo!